Hi everyone, I'm sitting here at the airport of Stavanger. I'm taking a direct flight to Riga, and from there I'm gonna travel around in the Baltics, in the Baltic states, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. And it's also gonna be my very first trip abroad since the start of the pandemic. The last time I was abroad was in February of last year. So yeah, I'm also fully vaccinated with the Pfizer. So yeah, it's gonna be very exciting, I think, and a little nervous too. So I have to just cross myself and think that they let me in and that the bureaucracy doesn't ruin everything. So yeah, I just pray to God that everything's gonna be okay. Almost feel like I'm running from a communist country, from a communist dictatorship, because I'm so excited of getting out, basically. And yeah, as you can see here, I have packed very light. It's a waterproof backpack. So yeah, so the whole thing is I'm gonna travel light, basically. So yeah, today, so just now I've just as you saw, took a little stroll through the old city of Riga, and and this was basically a very short stay, because I am soon going by bus to Tallinn, and that's I only did because my plan was originally to start in Tallinn, but the plane schedule was so complicated. First of all, I had to have a long 20-hour layover in Riga before I got to the plane to Tallinn, and it just seemed more reasonable just to take a direct flight to Riga from Stavanger, and then spend some hours in Riga, and then go by bus to Tallinn, which I'm going on right now. So, and I think it has been a very pleasant experience here. A lot of Russian in the streets, because I think like 40 or 50% of the population here in Riga are Russian speakers, so I hear a lot of Russian on the street. But I also hear some tourists too, like English speaking, the hostel bros, as I call them, are approaching the Baltic. So yeah, and I thought I was the only Western tourist who were going full holidaying in the Baltics, but unfortunately there's a lot of Westerners here too, which is kind of good for the economy, I guess. But yeah, or maybe I have just gotten so used to traveling in Russia that I like being the only the only Westerner, but we'll see how Tallinn works out. I'm really looking forward. That's my favorite city in the Baltics. We'll see. Hello everyone, I am now in Paldiski. I came here earlier this morning. Yeah, there was a certain change of plans. Instead of staying 2 nights in a hostel in Tallinn, I decided there was an event that led me to just go straight to Paldiski instead of staying way more in Tallinn. And also I've been to Tallinn before 2 years ago, so I don't really miss that much, to be honest. And yeah, the quality of the hostel was a little shitty. It so shitty that and the service was so shitty that I decided it was not worth staying there, and I don't know, and yeah, there was some event that think that it was better for me just to leave because it was such a shitty place. But other than that, yeah, and I do not regret it, because my plan was originally to take a day trip by train to Paldiski, but instead I got myself a good room, a room at a hotel here in Paldiski instead. So yeah, there's like a long road here, which I'm going with, like it's 50 minutes by foot to what's it called, a light tower, which was pretty cool, and the view from the light tower was pretty cool. I think you can see it in the background. Yeah, there, I guess. Yeah, and so yeah, so that's what I've done today. I've walked a little in the town of Paldiski, which is a really small town, mainly Russian speaking. And another fun fact is that the film Lilia Forever, it was filmed there in large parts. And yeah, it's a really good film. It's a Swedish film, but it's in Russian, and it takes place in the former Soviet Union, air quotes. So yeah, because, and not specific place, but of course everyone in that film speaks Russian. But I truly recommend Lilia Forever, because it's very dark, very dark, and not for everyone, but because it's a downward spiral. Maybe that was a spoiler, but check that film out. And yeah. So yeah, so now I'm gonna finally gonna get some to eat, and then go on some location scouting tomorrow. Hi everyone, today I'm going to do something special. Many of you already know that I'm a huge film nerd, and I know a lot about the cinema, and of course I love the Soviet cinema. And one interesting fact is that Andrei Tarkovsky's classic sci-fi thriller Stalker was actually, many of the exterior scenes were filmed here in Estonia. And so what I'm gonna do today is gonna find as many of these locations as possible. And yeah, and most of these are within like a 2-hour driving distance from Tallinn. Most of these locations are pretty close, packed together. And one of these locations is this pipe here, and interestingly enough, it's also the letters U and N here, which were actually painted on by Tchaikovsky, and still remains to this day. And there's even a plaque here that shows why, that describes why the letters are what they are. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Pretty cool that that also Estonian can appreciate Soviet cinema too, or like, yeah, because yeah, if you haven't seen that film, you should probably check it out. But let's go to the other places. that was that location scouting for today. It turns out, yeah, I got to see everything that was on my list basically, but it was a little harder to get to than I first thought. Like I thought I could see most by just taking a train and I mean taking a bus and a couple of buses and go by foot. But it turns out it was a little bit more complicated than that. So for the last location, the hydro energy station, which in the film is an abandoned factory, that was really well hidden. So I'm glad that I took a taxi there instead, and the driver was really nice, very talkative, a Russian speaker, of course. So yeah, it was little more expensive than I expected, but I'm glad. Or yeah, yeah. So it's I'm satisfied because I got the pictures I wanted, the films I wanted, and yeah. But I didn't get to see the hydro station up front very much because there was a fence in front of it. So yeah, but I still got some pictures and some clips of it by just holding the camera over the fence, basically. But yeah, and now I am going to Narva, which is a city next to the border of Russia, which is also the second most populous city in Estonia, and as well as like 99% of the population there are Russian speakers. So yeah, it's I'm just gonna say it is no secret that it shouldn't come as a shock that I did this trip to the Baltics in order to get closer to Russia, and that is why I search for these typical Russian places, like Paldiski, as I was in yesterday, was pretty much Russian speaking. It was like being in Russia, and yeah, but that's how we Russophiles are. So like, but of course, after Narva, I'm going to Tartu, if I'm not butchering it or remember correctly, but that is mainly a Estonian city. So maybe I will have to switch to English then. But yeah, and the train to Narva goes in an hour or so, and yeah, see you guys tomorrow. Bye. Narva, and it's actually a city in Estonia that is right next to the border. The only thing that separates these two countries is basically this bridge over here. So on this side you have Estonia, and on the other side you have Russia, all divided by this river here. So yeah, it has been an interesting day. It's a lot of great architecture here, and also there's a really nice beach over here, which I just took a swim in, and it's a really nice, nice little lake, and yeah. And I bathed there for like hours. Didn't want to get up because the water was so warm. And yeah, so that's basically it. And yeah. But yeah, now tomorrow I'll be heading south. And yeah, so see you then. Usually I don't show the places where I live because it's really not that interesting, but today is kind of this time I have really hit the jackpot with the most strangest place I ever lived, because yes, of course this is a hostel, but it's also yeah, we have like the usual our usual rooms, like I have my own room with my own bed, but this is like the kind of a common area with the like some sofas, but on not only fish tanks, a lot of fish tank, but also a room full of animals like this. Like, it's so strange. Like, look at this. I don't know if I should be amazed by the collection of animals or sad that they're all in cages, but I don't know, it's definitely interesting though. So very, Owner must be a very eccentric guy. So there's some turtles, some lizards. Wow, this is really weird. Yeah, there's I'm now in Tartu. It's a city like 3 hours south of Narva, and it's a big contrast here to Narva, while most or all in Narva speaks Russian. Like this seems to be a very Estonian city, and it also pretty much looks like an ordinary European city. Basically, it's yeah. So it's pretty much arriving to another country, even though it's in the same country. But yeah, and yeah, it's very hot outside, like almost 30 degrees Celsius, and yeah, we will see how. But if I just stay here for one night, or just yeah, we'll see what this town has to offer. Otherwise, it kind of reminds me of Finland for some reason, or maybe because the Estonians are related. But yeah, we'll see. Hello guys, we are walking to a forest here in the middle of nowhere. And why, you might ask, we are me and some other guy from the hostel are going to see a monument dedicated to Viktor Tsoi. And for those, Viktor Tsoi was basically a famous Russian singer, a rock star basically, who died young, and he died in a car accident in this remote area. So and there's a monument dedicated to him. So we are gonna check it out. Like two of us already know who he is. There are two of us are really excited, and it's one Argentinian guy that just come for fun, basically. Yeah, it's very interesting.
10 more minutes.
So yeah, we are finally here, like with the Tsoi monument, which we finally found. We had to walk through the forest, as I told you, and yeah, it's pretty amazing, right? It's like it's everything that I expected it to be, and yeah, it's here you have Tsoi, and here you have something that is written. It says that death is worth to have lived, and love is worth to have waited for, basically. And here you have a package of cigarettes, which is one of his most famous songs, Pachka Cigarettes. And yeah, that's a nice touch and a nice homage to him, actually, is the cigarettes, basically. So yeah. And it was exactly on this spot where he died, actually, or where he crashed, actually, where you see the posters on the bridge, basically. It's yeah, this is basically where he died, and the monument dedicated to him is actually over there where we just saw. So yeah, it was totally worth it. Well, today and yesterday also I relaxed at the beach of called no, it's a place called Jurmala, where there's a huge beach, it's like very long, kilometers upon kilometers, and yeah, it's really interesting. And yeah, it's like I'm a little hungover, so it was really wonderful coming here once more. Because yeah, like it's very warm here. It's over 30 degrees Celsius, and here you have a Armenian restaurant which I just ate at, so it was a really good place. Yeah, overall, besides the hangover, it's all good. Like it was a relaxing day. Yeah, basically. And tomorrow I'll be going home early.
Face mask wearing covering your mouth and your nose is mandatory during all flights. Thank you.